welcome to Living Life. May God renew you day by day in the words of God. Do you like camping? The opportunity to get out from the technology and the responsibilities for a while is a great way to relax. A few months ago, our church members wanted to go overnight camping at Lake Elsinore. It sounded fun. Camping fire, s'more, eating simple food, nature hiking. It sounded really good to me. Initially, we planned to stay there for 2 nights and 3 days. We had a great time there, but it was not easy. When a few people decided to go home because of their next day work, everyone else also decided to go down with them. We cut our camping trip short. Why? Staying and living in a tent was not easy at all. They might not like the scorching sun, cold winds, tons of mosquitoes, hard floor, and no showers. Knowing we have our own house and a nice bed makes us willingly go back home. Yesterday, we learned where we should place our perspective while we are going through sufferings. Apostle Paul continuously contrasts our light troubles with a far more exceeding and eternal weight of glory we will receive from God. He encourages us to fix our eyes from the things which are seen and temporary to things are unseen and eternal. Now Paul will write more about this contrast between the earthly and the eternal. Shall we give our ears to listen to today's passage?
2 Corinthians 5, verses 1 through 10. For we know that if the earthly tent we live in is destroyed, we have a building from God, an eternal house in heaven, not built by human hands. Meanwhile, we groan, longing to be clothed instead with our heavenly dwelling, because when we are clothed, we will not be found naked. For while we are in this tent, we groan and are burdened, because we do not wish to be unclothed, but to be clothed instead with our heavenly dwelling, so that what is mortal may be swallowed up by life. Now the one who has fashioned us for this very purpose is God, who has given us the Spirit as a deposit, guaranteeing what is to come. Therefore, we are always confident and know that as long as we are at home in the body, we are away from the Lord. For we live by faith, not by sight. We are confident, I say, and would prefer to be away from the body and at home with the Lord. So we make it our goal to please Him, whether we are at home in the body or away from it. For we must all appear before the judgment seat of Christ, so that each of us may receive what is due us for the things done while in the body, whether good or bad.
Do you know that Jews had to stay in a tent once a year? The Feast of Tabernacles is a week-long fall festival. It is one of the 3 great pilgrim festivals recorded in the Bible. All Jewish males are required to appear before the Lord in the temple in Jerusalem. The Bible reveals the dual significance in the Feast of Tabernacles. Agriculturally, it is Israel's Thanksgiving. It is a joyous harvest festival celebrating the completion of their harvest. Spiritually, it is for commemorating the 40 years journey of Israel in the wilderness. They remember God who delivered them from Egypt and showed protections and provisions in the wilderness. All Jews observe this time by building and dwelling in temporary shelters like a tent for a week, just like their ancestors did in the wilderness. Paul recalled the image of a Feast of Tabernacles. He compares our present physical body to a tent, a temporary, weak, and imperfection tent. Our body are not meant as a permanent residence. During the wilderness, God did not ask the Israelites to build a permanent buildings. Why? Their destiny is not in the wilderness. They are called to go to the promised land. They are supposed to live in the promised land. That's the place they should build their permanent houses. That's why Apostle Paul said in verse 1, if the earthly tent we live in is destroyed, we have a building from God, an eternal house in heaven not built by human's hand. Here, destroyed means when we die and leave this earthly body, we should know that God will give us a new eternal body. On the day we see God face to face, God will give us a glorified in bodies, which Paul compares an eternal home. Then finally, we will be free from the corruption, pain, disability, sickness, and death. While we are living in this world, we are stuck with our temporary body, but God will give us a new glorious body when we die. How do we know? Apostle Paul said, God gave us the Holy Spirit as a deposit that guarantee our eternal future. When the trials are hardened on earth, it isn't always easy to take a comfort in our heavenly destiny. God knew this, so He gave us the Spirit as a guarantee. Guarantee in Greek words, alhavon, means partially payments or a secure deposit. In modern Greek, means engagement ring. When we are wondering about our future, God gives us a Holy Spirit as a secure deposit or an engaging ring. God has given us His Spirit as a guarantee.